to show how the Rebbe in Lekutei Sichos was medayik that everything should be written properly, should be written in the right way, is from a Hagoah in Chelik Yud Aleph Parsha Kesiso Sicha Beis. There, the Rebbe writes that something that's bothering Rashi. Rashi is bothered why the Torah has to write a certain thing when it's understood from before. We know it from before. The Torah wouldn't have to repeat it. So the Rebbe wrote a Ha'ara. Even though we find that the Torah sometimes repeats something that we know already, still, if we're able to make it chilik between the two psukim and tell us what the pasuk adds, we do that. And the Rebbe writes, like Rashi explains in Mishpatim Chav Gimel Yutes and Ubi Parsha Seinu and in Parsha Kesiso, because this is a Sikh of a Parsha Kesiso, Lamed Dalet Chavov. Rashi says, "Ubegimel Mekem is nichta b'Torah," that the pasuk le'sevashel gdei b'chalei vim is written 3 times in the Torah, and it comes each one for a different din. Echad l'israchila ve'echad v'chula. One is to tell you can't eat it. One is that you can't have a no. One you can't cook it, etc., etc. And then the Rebbe added, "Af shebekama bekem is pirish l'chayev ola b'shnei lavin." Even though in some places Rashi explains why does the Torah repeat something. It's because to tell you that you're forever on it, you're chayiv and 2 averos, 2 lavin. Nevertheless, if we're able to explain the reason why the Torah repeats as we explain it. Now, when the Rebbe wrote that even though Rashi writes in different places that the reason the Torah repeats something is to be over on 2 lavin, the Rebbe didn't write a maramokim where Rashi says it. He just made 2 sides of the parentheses, left space in middle, meaning that the people who are involved in writing the Sichos, they should fill in the Maramokim. And the reason is very simple. The Rebbe would not write a Maramokim unless he looked it up. So with Poshet would take time, the Rebbe, to get up and look at the Maramokim, so he left it at the people to fill in. This is a very simple thing that the Maramokim is, you just look it up. So the people who filled in, and this, where does Rashi say, L'chayev al b'shnei lavin, Tzav Vov Vov, which means in Parsha Tzav Vov Vov. Then it said, Urei Pirish Rashi Siso Lamedalet Chav Gimel, and look at Rashi in Parsha Kesiso Lamedalet Chav Gimel, and it went on to Shmini Yud Aleph and Emer. When the Rebbe was Magia this Ha'or, when the second Hagoah, because the Rebbe would Magia everything twice, so when he was Magia and he looked through this Ha'or, he saw what was filled in, Tzav Vov Vov, and then it said, Urei Pirish Rashi Siso Lamedalet Chav Gimel. So the Rebbe crossed out the word Siso, changed it to the word, and he wrote it in big words, Beparsha Seinu, that this is a Rashi in our Parsha, and he added to this Mavhil, which means it's outrageous. That means that since this is a Sicha to Parsha Kesiso, the Seder is whenever you quote a Maramokim to something in this Parsha that the Sicha is on, you always wrote Parsha Seinu. In this Ha'ara itself, it says before, Beparsha Seinu Lamedalet Chavov. So why did you write Rei Pirish Rashi Siso? This is a Sicha on Parsha Siso. So it should say with Parsha Seinu. And the Rebbe was so upset, he wrote Mavhil in big words, and he underlined the word Mavhil. In other words, the Rebbe had to be so meduyik that if it's always written with Parsha Seinu, if it's this Parsha, then how could you change it and here write differently? Then it doesn't fit. So therefore, the Rebbe changed it and wrote Mavhil. So here we see how much the Rebbe wanted that everything should be exactly meduyik to the proper way.